Hey guys, it's Tamara Bennett from Southern Adornments Decor. I'm here with one of my good friends and Painters Clubhouse members, Chasity Doyle. She met me last month in Dallas, Texas, so I was excited to get to reconnect with her on here. Chasity, if you will, just tell everybody kind of like where you're from and how you kind of got started painting door hangers.
Okay, so I'm from Tennessee, Clarksville, Tennessee, if y'all know where that's at.
I didn't realize you were so close to me. That's only like
Yeah.
an hour and a half from here.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and I came across, I guess, a Facebook ad of Tamara with the spring workshop, and I decided to jump on. And I've always loved painting, but I never thought I was really good at it. And it just kind of re-sparked my love and enjoyment of painting and built my confidence really to be able to do more than I ever thought I could. So
Yeah. So had you done a lot of different kinds of crafts before this, or what kind of crafts do you like to do?
yeah, I was definitely a Jane of all trades, if you want
Yeah.
to say that. I dabbled in like everything, and then I'd always loved painting, like I said, and my heart just kept being drawn back to it, and
Mhm.
so I just fell in love with it. And Tamara, just the encouragement and the Painters Clubhouse is just awesome. So
Thank you. I appreciate that. So what do you do? Like, what's your day job? Are you a stay-at-home mom or do you have a
yes, I stay home and homeschool 5 children. Um, yeah, my oldest is about to be 11, and my youngest is 3.
wow.
Yeah,
So
it's a
you're
fun
probably
balance
a little bit like me. This painting was an escape from mommyhood for a little while.
for sure. Yes, it's my solitude and tranquility after a long day. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find it hard to find time to paint with little ones around?
I have in the past because of mom guilt. I felt guilty, like, y'all go watch a little TV and let mommy paint. But now I'm like, I really need this time. It's
Mhm.
really important to make this time for me. So,
Yeah. It's like therapy for us. And if we're in a better place mentally, we're a better mom anyway.
yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
Did the kids like to paint with you?
They do. My girls, I have 4 girls and they love it. They're always asking to paint.
So what has been your favorite project that you've done in the clubhouse so far?
Hmm.
If you're like me, they're all my favorite, but
Yeah.
what comes to mind?
Um, I love all the fall stuff, especially the new stuff you're coming out with here
Mhm.
lately. I'm a fall girl and I love all of it. So,
Yeah, fall's my
I,
favorite.
yeah, I'm really excited for this week. All the new takes on the fall design. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
I'm sure it'll spark some sort of creative idea in you, and even if you don't paint the same design, it'll probably make you look at a different fall design from the past that you might have done that you wanna redo.
Yeah.
Had you painted very many door hangers before you joined Clubhouse?
No, no, I just used
Really?
to paint on canvas. I would just kind of doodle something and then paint it, and it really honestly looked like a child did it. But it wasn't until I joined the Painters Clubhouse that I gained a ton of new skills to be able to do all kind of stuff. Like I
Yeah.
said, I never thought I could do before.
What kind of skills specifically, like painting techniques, or have you started using power tools?
Both. My husband bought me a skill saw for my birthday, scroll saw. I'm sorry. Um, and I've dabbled in that. I don't feel very confident yet in my skills, but I have tried. And yeah, painting techniques. Like I never knew you could take something and like trace it and then paint it, and it would like look amazing. Like I always thought if you're gonna paint something, you have to hand draw it, and I was
Mhm.
like, well, I'm not very talented in drawing. But now I'm like, I can paint anything.
Yeah, that was one of the most common objections I would hear from people when I would say, "Anybody can learn to paint." They're like, "Oh, not me. I
Yeah,
can't draw a stick figure." And I'm like, "Drawing a stick figure has nothing to do with knowing how to paint
yeah,
because once you discover that you can use a template and graphite paper, you can draw Spider-Man if you want to. You can I say Spider-Man because I did do Spider-Man on like I think it was like a monogram door hanger, a shape of like a letter or something, and they
Yeah.
wanted superheroes on it. And I'm like, oh, that sounds really hard. But then I thought, oh, I could print out a coloring sheet of Spider-Man and trace it on there, and you know what? It worked.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so much fun to be able to like, oh, I really like that design. Let me just print it out and do it real quick. So yeah.
I think it's cool as a mom too when your kid is like really into something. Like my son, for example, is really into WWE wrestling. And so I could easily find a wrestling coloring page or something for him, and I could trace that on wood and cut it out, and he could paint it, or I could paint it for him, or whatever. And of
Yeah.
course, now that we've got this laser machine, he's like, "Mom, can you cut me out the WWE logo? I want to paint it." And he's seen the glass and resin, and he's like, "I want to put resin on it." I'm like, "You are not even 12 yet, and you have got all these big ambitions."
Yeah.
Uh, I see some of our PC sisters in the comments. Pam says, if you don't join this fabulous group of ladies and gentlemen, you'll never regret it. She said Tamara's a great teacher. And then
For
my
sure.
friend Lauren said, she was talking about the technique of the template and the graphite paper. She said it opens up a whole new world. It
Yeah.
really does.
Yeah, for sure.
Because somebody might look at like this one right here and be like, I can't do that because I can't do lettering.
Yeah.
But with the template, the lettering is suddenly not an issue because if you can paint inside the lines, you're good.
Yeah, that was another holdup because my lettering is terrible. I've tried to practice, but I'm just not talented. And so, yeah, being able to transfer it and paint it. Yeah.
And if you're like me, like a lot of us don't even like our own handwriting. Like I don't like the look of my handwriting. And yes, I probably could write something in cursive, but I won't like the way it looks. I prefer using a font most of the time because I like the way the font looks better than my own writing. So even though I can hand letter, a lot of times I choose just to use a template because I like the way it looks better.
Yes.
Lauren says lettering for me was like that for a long time. Now, after using templates, it's so easy with a template, but I can do some freehand now too. That's great that you've kind of like still learned that skill and can move forward with that. So what are you excited to paint next, Chastity? Like for the fall? Is there a design that you're excited to do next?
So at the live, I bought the truck with the pumpkins in the back, and I've booked a craft show for September. So I've been working on like all of my stuff, my stock for that, and so I'm finally like getting toward the end of that, and I'm like, oh, it's just sitting over there haunting me. I'm like, I want to go paint just for fun instead of like, oh, here we go again, you know. So I mean, it's fun, but yeah, I'm trying to make 2 of every design that I'm taking just to have more than one.
That's a good starting place.
My first one, so I'm nervous. I hope everything sells, or at least some stuff. But
yeah, you probably won't sell out unless it's just like crazy foot traffic. Like I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of craft experience, but craft fair experience. But I wouldn't expect that you'll sell out just because most people don't. But I hope that you sell a good amount of them to where you felt like it was worth it, and at least learn a thing or two while you're there. You know, because it's always good to learn for the next one.
My goal is to pay for my trip to the live in Destin. So
yay! I can't wait. I know it's a whole year away, but I'm ready right now to go. I'm so ready. It's gonna be fun.
Yes.
And you're close enough. If you wanted to come join us on November 5th for the Christmas crafting thing we're gonna do, you could come up for that.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm hoping that I make it.
So let's see. What else can I ask you? I'm a terrible interviewer. I did not prepare questions. Let's see. What would you have to say to somebody if they were afraid to post something in the Painters Clubhouse, to post a picture of their projects? Because I know it seems like there are people who join who wait a while before they share their painted projects. It's like there's an anxiety there about posting it. So what would you say to those people?
Don't be afraid. I've posted several things and some not so great, and people are nothing but encouraging. They'll give you tips on things to do better or different, and they'll tell you great job. So I have had nothing but great encouraging comments. So don't be afraid.
I agree. Yeah, it's a very drama-free zone.
Yes,
But not just that, it's also a very positive, uplifting environment to be a part of.
Yes, I love that. I hate to have drama in groups, like people just be rude or complain over silly things, and it's like that's really not necessary.
Yeah, it brings the whole vibe down, doesn't it?
It does.
Yes. Lauren says, that's one reason I'm so excited about November. Next September seems so far away. It's going to help hold us over, Lauren. Get us over the hump. Lauren also said that templates help her with consistency. That's one thing that I struggled with when I first started. Before templates were even a thing, I was hand drawing everything on like poster board or craft wrapping paper and trying to like draw the shape of a pumpkin or whatever I'm drawing.
Yeah.
And none of my templates were the same size. You might have a pumpkin that's like this big, and then you might have something else that's this big. And when you held them up next to each other, there was no size consistency, because when you're trying to draw something larger to scale, it's hard to get it right. And then if I were going to have to draw the same pumpkin over and over, or maybe I had to hand letter something on those pumpkins over and over, it was really difficult to get it consistent because it always looked different on every single one.
Yeah. Yeah. I always found that for whatever reason, when I draw or letter, everything like ends up lopsided instead of like straight.
Going uphill or downhill. Or the spacing between the words. Sometimes that's hard to get right.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I'm kind of kicking myself that I did not know about graphite paper earlier than I did. I learned about it way too late.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you have any advice for somebody who's maybe sitting on the fence and they're not sure whether or not to make this commitment to join Painters Clubhouse? Because I know it is a $47 a month commitment. Do you have any kind of advice for people like that?
I would say if you can squeeze it in, do it because it's worth it. If for nothing else, the encouragement of the ladies in the group. Because, I mean, technically you could log in, download files, and then leave. But I think the encouragement of the ladies in the group is like worth every penny of what you pay. So if you can squeeze it in, it's so worth it. And there's always new designs coming out that you get access to that you don't get other places. So
yeah. I had somebody comment one day and they said, well, why would you pay for something like this if you can get tutorials for free out on the internet?
yeah.
And that's one of the reasons, is because of the group. It's also a convenient thing, right? Like if you are a busy mom and you have a couple of hours on a Saturday to sit down and craft, you don't want to have to try to hunt for a tutorial to watch or hunt for a project to do. Having a library where you can just log in and be like, I want to do that one, download, print it out, and within 30 minutes you can have it already cut out and be ready painting. Yeah. Wanda said, I loved the sponge tip that you did on the Pumpkin Trio workshop. Best tip ever. Is there like a light bulb moment like that for you that, you've picked up on over the last few months that you're like, oh, this is a game changer?
Well, yeah, the template thing for sure. That was like my very first thing. And then the sponge, that has been like a total game changer. Especially doing the bulk painting that I've been doing recently. It's just like so fast to just swipe it on there, blow dry it, swipe it again, and then you're done. It's awesome. Yeah.
It definitely made prepping for those craft shows a little faster, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yes. I did one yesterday and the background was like tape and paint, solid colors, a few of them. And that went so much faster than with a brush because of the sponge. Trying to think of anything else. The paint markers have been awesome. I had the Poscas at first, and then you've recently talked about the Artistro, and I just got some, and I used them yesterday for the first time, and I was like, wow. These are
You
awesome.
like them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm like, I want them in all the sizes, all the color options. Give me every pen.
Yes.
This is a great point too. Lauren said most of them have supply lists too, so you can easily make sure you have all your stuff. Even like she said, I'm in town right now. Let me pull that up, and then you're ready to have it when you're when you have time. Yeah, we try to make it as convenient as possible for those of you who have limited time or resources to sit down and just get to painting. Cut out all the figuring it out part of it.
Yeah.
Well, I've enjoyed chatting with you for a few minutes, Chasity. Thank you for sharing your insight on Painters Clubhouse. Do you have any final words for everybody?
Thank you for having me, and I just appreciate all the hard work that you put into Painters Clubhouse and just the awesome ladies in the group. Thank y'all for being who you are.
Yeah. Because I could have put this group together, but I could have just given you the tutorials and things, but I feel like the huge like benefit of it is the support of the people, the group, and I couldn't do that on my own. So I'm grateful for everyone. So, well, you have a wonderful day, and thank you for joining me for just a few minutes, and we'll see you next time. If any of you want to join Painters Clubhouse, I have put the link here in the pinned comment, so be sure and do that. Our bonuses go away tonight at midnight, and I'll share what those are real quick for us. We've got top tips for painting faster from creatives, so if you're a slow painter, this will really help. How to sell your door hanger even if you don't have a business yet with Ashley Rates. This will really help for those of you who are maybe struggling financially to join the group. If you can just sell one door hanger a month, it's going to make it, almost like you're painting for free. And then this design right here is one of our bonuses. If you want to learn how to use this technique, you can do it on a round, you could do it on a pumpkin, whatever you want to do it on. It's just a painting technique tutorial. And so you can learn how to paint this in the bonus that you're going to get if you sign up by midnight. So, all right. Thanks, Chasity, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.